Hello everyone and welcome to the Brands Hatch circuit in the UK for round 2 of the 2019.1 South African simGT series. I'm Jason Holden-Jones and I'm really looking forward to this race this evening. The times are super close. They have been throughout the entire weekend. Through the last chance qualifier, of course. And the final practicing the top three extremely close together as well. So let's see what happens at this tight and twisty circuit this evening. Of course, we had round 1 at Bathurst, which saw Jim Clark run away with it. And let's see what he can do this evening. But we're watching Bashir Jadwat now in the Ghostworks Audi. Looking pretty strong. Let's see what he can come up with. All the drivers aiming for that 22nd bracket. With most of them in the low 23s. Big welcome to everybody in the YouTube live chat. Great to see everybody chatting away. It's going to be a good lap from Jadwat. Great exit there from turn 6, I think that was. There's a 23.781 for Jadwat. First time round, pretty good start, but he'll be looking to improve on that more. Olifant now in second for RPM, and then we got Claessens in third for Synergy. Spartan Mabida now pops up into provisional pole position with 23.359 for RPM as well. And Mabida the quickest throughout the weekend in the last chance qualifier. And was quickest for every day of the last chance qualifier, the 4 days. So Bongi Mabida, definitely one to watch this evening. So Jadwat led by Leslie Olifant in the 187 Audi. Trying to improve, but he's a 10th down so far on his best delta. Got just over 10 minutes remaining of this qualifying session, and Olifant's not going to improve this time, right? Chris Heineken now has popped up into 4th position for Phantom Ghostworks. He's being chased by Christopher Langefeld. Langefeld yet to set a lap time. Watching Nick Hodgson now in the Dodging Towers BMW, currently in 6th position with the 24.371, just 6/100ths of a second behind Volante Racing's Copa. Steven Sparks now into 9th position, Marcus Steyn now up into 5th. Nick Hodgson now looking to improve. Wow, he's 4/10ths of a second up in his best delta. And that could possibly give him, what, 3rd position. So challenging Olifant now is Hodgson. Can he keep it together? Approaching Dingledale corner now. Tricky corner. Blind. It is. It's on the way towards Sterling's Bend. Now turn 8. Point to get a good exit out of this corner. He's lost a lot of time as Hodgson, but he's gaining again now. Almost 3/10ths of a second. And now through Clearways, turn 9. The final corner of the circuit. And Hodgson's going to recuperate a lot of that 4/10ths that he lost. And where's he going to end up? That's the question. He's up into 4th position. 2/10ths down in Bashir Jadwat. But yes, he did beat Olifant. Jim Clark now to provisional pole with a 23 039. So work to do here for Mabida and Jadwat if they are challenge our race winner from round 1, Jim Clark, for Core Racing. Mabida now looking to improve. It's going to give him about a 1/10 of a second. It will get closer to Clark. He does a 23.268 now. Do 2/10 off provisional pole is Bongi. What is Jadwat doing? Jadwat's about to start his next flying lap. Stay with Bashir Jadwat as we go through turn 1. Off camber, downhill and up the hill towards Druids Bend. Tricky corner to get right. To get back on the power just at the right time. Then we go down the hill towards Graham Hill Bend. Then on to Cooper Straight. The drivers can run wide if they like across the white line. That is allowed. And on the way to Surtees corner now, turn 4. Another tricky left-hander. Jadwat playing with the throttle on exit, gets it slightly wrong unfortunately. He's lost a bit of time now, but down the straight we go now. Oh, in fact Jadwat's going to abandon that lap and set himself up for his next lap. I think he's just going to get his tyres cooled down a bit. Or is that how he's working the tyres this evening for qualifying? I'm not quite sure if that was to plan. No, Jadwat will not use that lap as a challenger, that's for sure. Devon Lisher now in the Redline Racing Lamborghini did very well in the last couple of races. Let's see what he can do now. He's currently in 5th position behind Chris Heineke. Front now for Core Racing up to 11th position. Lisher looking to improve now by a 1/10 of a second. We did lose a bit of time there through Surtees. Challenging Oliphant for 5th and possibly Heineke for 4th position if he can keep this up. Looking for a good exit now, but he hasn't got, or has he? He has improved slightly. On the run to clearways now. And Lisher. Oh, he's lost a bit of time unfortunately, so he's not going to improve that time round. Abandons the lap as well. That's what Clark is doing. Clark's on another out lap. Beaters in the pits. Jadwat is improving well by half a second. Wow, is this going to be pole position for the Ghostworks driver? He's got enough of a margin of the car in front not to hinder his lap. Oh, and he gets it turned in well, does he? Oh, he's lost a bit of time, but it's not. Is it going to be enough for pole position? It's going to be close. And Bashir Jadwat does not improve. So something happened with that lap. So for whatever reason that lap was invalidated, perhaps track limits or something to do like that. But possibly Jadwat's got the potential to go to pole position with just over 4 minutes remaining now. Chris Heineke is down in his best starter so far. There's the Oliphants in the pits. Devon Lisher is on an out lap. Hodgson's not going to improve this lap, I don't think. Stephen Sparks now looking to improve for Redline Racing in the McLaren. So Sparks challenging Hodgson for 7th. Redline Racing versus Dodging Towers. But Stephen's not going to improve this lap. He's going to try again though, no doubt. Mark Hennebury now looking to improve for Phantom Ghostworks. Just about square with his best delta so far. and Pennebury throws always good. Work away with 2/10 up. He could have had, what, 7th position if he kept that up. Langerfeld now improving. He needs 2/10 to get to provisional pole. I see he's taking that 2nd place away from Abida. So it's extremely competitive this evening. Even more so than usual. Great to see the full complement of 22 drivers on the server this evening. Langerfeld now, wow, he's found a 10th and a half. What can he do now? So close. Laying it all on the line now. Important not to overdrive this corner, get a good exit. Oh, Langerfeld didn't quite improve there. What can he do through the final corner? It's going to be close if he can nail this corner. No, he hasn't quite got it, but he's closed the gap to Clark. So 23.131. So just a 10th of pole position now is Langerfeld. What is Mabida doing? Mabida is on an out lap. Clark is not going to improve this lap. So it's good news for us watching as the rest of the field tries to catch Clark now. Langerfeld is a bit slow this time round. And Langerfeld's pen. That's attempt. What's Judd Watt do? Judd Watt's on an out lap. Just starting another flyer. What can Judd Watt now do? He's under pressure. In 4th position. He wants to be a bit higher than that for the start of this race. Just a minute remaining now in the session. Clark improves now to 22.989. So there's that magical 22-second bracket popping up. Judd Watt doesn't look like he's going to improve this time around. Mabida also won't improve. Hodgson's in the pits. Heineke's in the pits. Oliphant now. He's on an out lap. Can he get around before the session ends? It's absolutely incredible how tight the times are. And 2 seconds between provisional pole and 20th position. That's how tight it is. Well, Oliphant looking for something special now in the dying moments. He's a 10th up in his best delta. Looking to challenge Heineke for that 6th position. Stein now pops up into 7th for Rebel Ghostworks. Good effort there. Starts in just behind Heineke and the sister Ghostworks car. Oliphant pushing hard now. But it is Jim Clark who I think has secured pole position this evening already. Unless Oliphant comes with something absolutely magical through this final half stage of the lap. No, Oliphant's lost his all his good work already, unfortunately. So Oliphant will not improve this lap. Is anyone else on a lap? No, I think as Oliphant was the last driver to make an attempt. And that wraps up qualifying for this evening. We are going to take a short break. Don't go away. Welcome back to Brands Hatch. We've just started the formation lap. And it is, of course, Jim Clark leading the way for Echo Racing. Leading Langerfeldt in second. For Redline Racing, Mabida for RPM. And then we've got Bashir Jadwat in fourth position for Ghostworks. Nick Hodgson in the Dodging Towers BMW in fifth position. Chris Heineke in sixth for Phantom Ghostworks. And Marcus Stain in seventh for Rebel Ghostworks. There's Oliphant in eighth for RPM. Devon Isher for Redline Racing ninth. Stephen Sparks completes the top 10 in the Redline Racing McLaren. The only McLaren racing this evening. We got Lawrence Sterner in the BMW in 11th position. Great result from him. And after a strong showing in the GP series, he carries on his fine form here into the GT series. Great to see a new driver doing so well. Mark Henry will start from 12th position, and he would have been wanted to start a bit further up the grid. Let's see what he can do. Quay Claessens now for Synergy Spartan from 13th. Oscar Koppa from 14th position for Valente Racing. Let's go back to the front now as Jim Clark now reaches the field to get this 62 lap race underway. Off we go. Jim Clark started the race from the speeder point, gets the jump on Christopher Langerfeldt. Interested to see what the power difference is between the BMW and the Lamborghini down the back straight, but Jadwat now trying to pounce on Bongi Mabida already. But Bongi Mabida is away to it, or is he? Jadwat still challenging, looking for the inside line. No, Mabida defends well. As the field now comes down towards Graham Hill Bend. All 22 cars in action. And Jim Clark really starting to move away. And Jadwat still hassling that rear end of the Porsche. Watch Mark Henry try and chase down Lawrence Sterner for 11th position. But everyone being very cautious on this opening lap. Just trying to get the tyres and brakes up to temperature. Stephen Sparks looking dangerous here in 10th position. Starting to hassle Lisha in front of him. Lisha trying to find a way past Oliphant. Comes Lisha with a good run on Oliphant, but Oliphant's wise to it. Jadwat absolutely desperate to get past Mabida as the two start to move away now. And this is allowing Nick Hodgson to catch up to them as well. Kelvin and Pino swapping these positions at the back too. Kelvin is up to 21st now. Let's go on board with Bashir Jadwat. Oh, almost runs to the back of Mabida. Does so well to avoid him. Looking for the inside line now. Mabida's not allowing him to get underneath him. Oh, contact between the two. Damage to the Porsche. So Jadwat getting a bit frustrated perhaps. Mabida just will not let him by, of course. And as Kat Snayman says in the chat, perhaps he just needs to wait for a mistake, but the thing is Mabida is not one to make a mistake. That's the problem. And Jadwat knows that. Heineke now. He's got Olifant behind him. Olifant under pressure from Lisha. Lisha has a look, but upside of it. It's fast and frantic stuff on lap 4. All the cars still very close together. And that's what we want to see. And this is why perhaps qualifying is even more important here when compared to the other tracks. It's just not so easy to pass here, Brands Hatch. Well, we see some of the teams get creative with different pit strategies. As Clark has already got a 3-second lead on Christopher Langerfeldt. Porsche seems to have the legs on the Audi as well, for good measure. And as Kat Snayman says, Bongi is starting to form a train. Yes, it seems that way. A big twitch from the Ghostworks Audi. The Jadwat's on top of it. At the moment is this man Jim Clark running away with it. 3.5-second lead on Langerfeldt. Here comes Langerfeldt now. And then we got the Mabida train, or I'd say the train's breaking up now as Mabida and Jadwat starting to break away now. Look back now from Mabida. Jadwat. Lisha's got Olifant there for 8th position. That move happening off camera, unfortunately. What's happened to Claessens? Claessens had an off. He's lost 2 positions. So is Hennebury. I wonder if they've come together. The way they both dropped down the order, that would perhaps suggest that. Lorio now looking up the inside of Boy. Doesn't quite make it work. Oh, we got someone turned around. Who's that? This Lisha has been turned around. Wow. So we will drop right back to 21st position. That has not worked out for Redline Racing. Sterner's got Sparks for 9th position. Just behind, we saw Coper put him even for runs. Now watch Steven Sparks chasing down Lawrence Sterner. Good fight these two are having. Mark Henry's got Elric Insolent for 16th position. The Phantom Ghostworks puts one over Volante Racing. Let's see if Insolent can come back at him now. Now it's Sean Naria in the SimTech Racing Porsche. Chasing down a recovering Quay Class, and Staines got Hodgson for 5th position. So Marcus Steyn now making moves. Next one up the road for him is Bashir Jadwat in the sister Ghostworks Audi. Maybe they're making that Porsche very wide indeed. Henry dropping down the order. Wow, he's out. He's in the pits, is Mark Henry. Is he going to carry on, or will he leave the server? Perhaps quite a bit of damage to the Audi. Back to the Judd White Mabita battle now. Hodgson too looking to come back at Stan. Hodgson bringing Heinecker with him. Possibly a 3-way battle for 5th coming up. Chad right now has got a good run on Mabita. What can he do with it though? Can't really pass through here, can he? He's going to try to force up the inside now, is he? Mabita's away to it. Mabita hugging the inside line. Mark Kennedy unfortunately has left the server, our first retirement of the evening. I wonder if Judd White's thinking about mixing up the strategies now, perhaps coming in a bit earlier. The problem with that is he may fall back into traffic when Mabita scampers away in the front. He needs to find a way past Mabita as soon as possible. This is instant up, applying pressure to Matthew Boy. Hodgson now right with Stain. Judwood goes aggressive up the inside. I was waiting for that move. Has he made it stick? Yes, he has. Great move by Bashir Jadwat. A great fight between these two. Wow, what a treat. But Jadwat's away and he's off. He needs to catch up to Langeveld as quickly as possible. And now we can see what kind of raw pace Bashir Jadwat has. Can he do anything about Langeveld and Clark in front of him? Next fight to watch now is Wesley Ferrant on Oscar Copa. This is over 10th position. Just behind we've got Claessens and Laurie also going at it. Right now with a good run on Copa is found the inside line now. Oh, side by side. Oh, and Ferrant opts out of it. He could have forced it further. He was alongside of him. Perhaps that would result in contact, however. Duggan now is falling down. No, Alfie Van Zyl is off. Alfie Van Zyl in the Black Widow BMW down to 19th position. He goes. Sean Larry now fighting with Claessens. Ferrant's had an off. Yes, he's fallen right back. Oh, contact here. Claessens into the back of Ferrant. Oh, they're going to come together. Contact. Oh, unfortunately, Laurie's been caught up in that as well. Laurie will recover from 15th position now, behind Elric Insulin. Jadwat moving away from a beat, another gap up to 1.2 seconds. 6.8 to Langeveld. Let's see if that can come down. Instant now. Oh boy, is that an off. That's been a terrible lap for Synergy Spartan. Claessens and Boy having problems. Laurie and Lishan are right together. These two have fallen back in the race, both of them, both recovering. Stephen Wilkins says Jim Clark will beat Jimmy Broadbent. I'd like to see a race between them. I would agree with you, Stephen. I think you would absolutely destroy him, in my personal opinion. But I know Broadbent's got a lot of fans. But perhaps somewhat of a controversial comment. I might be slightly biased, of course. This is the closest battle on track so far. Hang on. Oh, as I say that, wow, Lisha goes for a wild ride. He's going to rejoin just in front of Duggan. No, he won't. Duggan. And Sterno, oh, and off goes Lisha again. I think it's just overheated tires. Yeah, you need to be careful when you're pushing the car too hard like that. Lisha not having a great time this evening, unfortunately. Let's see what it can do now. Only a lap 14 of 62. Legend of Super. Mention that in the headline, Jason. Yeah, that would be classic clickbait. It's not a bad idea, actually. Ferrant now puts a move on Claessens. Goes up into 11th position. Echo puts a move over on Synergy. Yeah, we could call it Jimmy versus an alien from South Africa. Actually quite cool. But wow, look at Jim Clark go. He's got a 10-second lead over second place man Christopher Langerfeld. Nothing holding him back. Devon Escher unfortunately is retired from the race. Our second retiree this evening. I think he's sustained quite a bit of damage with that impact with the wall. I think one way that Jim Clark is so fast is he uses every inch of the circuit and he's confident while doing so. Let's go on board with Jim Clark. Let's see how he attacks the circuit. The Druids bend now. Very tight. Hugs the apex nicely. Lets the car run wide. Uses the curb. Down the hill towards Graham Hill bend now. Turn 3. Let the car run wide. Back on the power as soon as he can. Surtees now. Let's see how he does this now. He actually hugs the apex quite a lot. Wow. While I was practicing for the Division 2 race on Wednesday, I actually used quite a wide entry and then cut back in, but I see Jim Clark actually likes to hug the inside of the circuit a bit more. Through Hawthorne bend now. Derek minus straight. Then we've got Westfield bend now, turn 6. That's made a slight error. There's Clark. See, is human, everybody. Did make a mistake there. A bit cautiously Dingle Dell as well. Sterling's bend. Jim Clark loses half a second now. See how he points the car into Druids. Just that last minute dash into the corner. Lining the car nicely up for the apex. Let the car run wide now. Langerfeld in second position. He's 8.6 seconds ahead of Jadwat. So he's actually increased the gap by 2 seconds in Jadwat passed Babida. Babida now starting to close the gap to Jadwat as well. That gap's down to 1.3. As the gap started to open up now on lap 17 of 62. Let's have a look at Raymond Duggan for Black Widow. I think it's one of 2 Black Widow cars in this race. Alfie Fansel is another one. So Black Widow well represented this evening. Great to see in Division 1. Duggan, in fact, on his best lap so far this evening. The Audi's starting to come good. Back with Bongi Mabida in 4th position, of course. Alaric Incident in 13th for Valenta Racing, leading Sean Lario just behind him, 1.3 seconds between them. Stephen Wilkins just saying, wow, these cars have nice liveries. Absolutely. Cars are looking absolutely amazing. Every season they just get better and better. They're all like pieces of artwork these days. Oh, big slide there, Insolent. He hangs on to it though. Great car control. But he's just lost, what, 4/10 of a second to Lario just behind him. So Insolent could be coming under pressure now. Actually, Insolent doing a fantastic job in this race. He was the last of the last chance qualifiers for the weekend. And he finds himself up into 13th position. So some fantastic consistency here by Insolent. This battle is starting to develop nicely now. Our closest fight so far. Oh, Insolent's got it wrong. Wow, why did I say that? Commentator's curse. Around goes Insolent. But he's going to recover easy. Boy, he slips past as well. He's easy back on the power now. Here comes Alfie van Zyl to scavenge a position as well. Yes, he does. So Alfie van Zyl now up into 17th position. Yeah, as far as I know, all the front runners on the medium tyre. I think it was just Mark Hennebury who was on the soft tyre, but he's retired now. Maybe I should spend some time talking about Jim Clark, and then perhaps he'll make a mistake and make it interesting. But wow, leading by 12.5 seconds by lap 20. That's a domination so far. Oh, someone's off in the distance. Who is that? It's Holden-Jones. Holden-Jones off in the red Lamborghini. Wow, what's happened to the Lambo? Can he get it going again? That's the question. Possibly on the phone. Who knows what's happening in the Holden-Jones household. Perhaps we'll see Peter get going again, hopefully. So yeah, perhaps an important phone call there for Peter Holden-Jones, who knows. He hasn't left the server yet, so sure get going again. Yeah, JP Paul, basically everyone's running the medium tyre. Holden-Jones has got going again, or has he? Just trying to keep out of everyone's way. I think Kevin Lawrence mentioning maybe it's kids, could be. Perhaps the cats jumped in between the pedals. Quay Clarson's now chasing down Wesley for a run for 11th position. This is interesting. Holden has unfortunately has left the server. Makes him our third retirement for the evening. And Kevin Lawrence is sharing some parenting advice for a sim racer. If it's a racer, ensure the kids have had no sugar, played all day, and had no afternoon naps. There we have it, everyone. That's how we get it done. My daughter's only 15 months old, so I've got some time until then. She's in bed by 7 o'clock or so already, so not an issue for me at the moment, but I'm sure it will be eventually. The Clarsons now really starting to make inroads on Wesley front. Let's go on board with Quay Clarsons. An interesting battle. It's an all Audi affair. Plenty of Audis on track this evening. Oh, and Clarson's lost out there to Front. Front leaves him behind. Oh, big wiggle there for Clarsons. And the corner demands a lot of the pedal control on exit. So front now, I'm starting to move away from Clarsons. That Audi front is looking a bit happier on corner exits. Clarsons is fighting the car a bit more. Perhaps a softer setup in that Eco Audi. got a fight developing now between Oliphant and Steven Sparks. Steven Sparks having an absolute cracker of a race this evening. Wow. On board now with Steven Sparks. Good to see a McLaren amongst the action. I'm driving one myself on Wednesday evening in Division 2. Of course, we also got the Division 3 race on Wednesday evening, and of course if you're watching this and you want to start racing at SimRace South Africa, you're very welcome to do so. You can visit our website at simracesa.co.za. Click on the Esports Leagues tab, and there you'll find out all the information as to what we're doing this season, and you'll also find a sign-up form that you can submit, and that'll come to me via email, and I'll respond as soon as possible. Oh, Sparks makes a slight error, he's paying for it now. Just needs to be a bit more cautious on corner entry, does Steven Sparks. So Peter, tell us what happened. Was it the cat? Was it kids? What happened? Scott Pino now has left the server. No, our 4th retirement of the evening. Oliphant now starting to catch up to Heineke. He's just bringing Sparks along with him. This could be interesting later. Starting to approach the halfway stage of the race now. The drivers will be thinking about doing their pit stops. We've got Oscar Koper, our first of our scheduled pit stops, I think, from 14th position. Trying to get the undercut and some of the other cars around him, I think. I think he's going to slot nicely into an open space as well. Volante Racing Audi gets underway. He's going to rejoin ahead of his teammate, Elric Insolent. As Langefeld comes through to put a lap on both of them. Sparks has got another run on Oliphant. Oliphant defends aggressively. Instant into the pits now from 18th position. Sterner's got Lario. Looks like it's an awful Lario. Sterner through to 12th position now. Back to the Sparks Oliphant battle. They cotched now into the pits from 6th position. Oh, he's actually missed his pit box, so he's had to reverse too. It's cost him time. Oh, Sparks looking for a move now. But Oliphant's got him covered for now. Hodgson's still in the pits. Claasen's now also comes in the Synergy Audi. Hodgson will rejoin. Just at a race leader, Jim Clark. It's currently 11th position is Nick Hodgson. Judd Watt now has fallen to be behind Mabida. So it looks like an off there for Judd Watt. Mabida sees the opportunity. So these two are back at it again. Langefeld now into the pits from 2nd. Judd Watt's going to try the undercut on Mabida as he dives into the pits. And Judd Watt needs this pit stop to go extremely well. Let's see how he gets the car stopped. In comes Marcus Stan as well. And Judd Watt gets the car stopped in time, just behind Langefeld. The distance, we've got Stan, of course. Oh, he misses his pit box somewhat. And Judd Watt needs to rejoin the circuit in clear air if he can. Sparks into the pits, Heineken into the pits. Oliphant has stayed out, so it's going to be just interesting between Sparks and Oliphant when Oliphant does his pit stop. Judd Watt is rejoining clear air, so he'll be going for it now. Jim Clark now into the pits from the race lead, of course. Sterner Ferrant Boy also into the pits. Beater into the lead provisionally until he does his pit stop, of course. Jim Clark rejoins just ahead of Lario. He's a lap down. Boy now into the pits as well. So Mabita should come to the pits as soon as he can, just to cover off the attack from Judd Watt. Perhaps he feels he's got the confidence to run long and open the gap to Judd Watt. But what do you expect Mabita in now? Duggan into the pits now. Is Mabita going to come in? No, he won't. He will stay out. I'm not sure if that's the right decision. Surely he's costing himself time if he comes in, if he stays out. Steven Sparks now and Chris Heineke close together. I think Sparks is in fact past Chris Heineke during the pit stop phase. Sparks now fighting Oliphant, of course. Oliphant still to come in. In comes Mabita. Where's Judd Watts? Oh, big slide. Hangs on to it. Mabita needs to get going. Here comes Judd Watt down the main stretch. Surely he's going to have Mabita. Is he? Yes, he is. Mabita just took a bit too long to come into the pits for my liking, and it's cost him dearly. Through goes Judd Watt into that fourth position, or be third when Oliphant does his pit stop. So Mabita and RPM just getting their strategy a bit wrong. And Judd Watt has pounced and take their position away. Van Sale now into the pits from 12th position. Got someone off in front of Jed Watt. I just should be a bit careful. Who is that? I think that might have been Insulin. Yes, it was. But Insulin rejoined safely. Insulin just making way for Jed Watt. Great driving, respecting those blue flags. That's what we like to see. And Insulin just showing his wealth of experience. Boys got Fansel for 17th. This Copper Ferrand battle is now taking off. Just 0.3 of a second between them. Ferrand just using an interesting line. Exiting Druids. But wow, Clark leading by almost 20 seconds. Fansel now into the pits from 18th. Oh, and Copper gets it wrong. Ferrand not quite close enough to take advantage of the error. Because they're applying pressure now. And Claessen's not too far behind these two as well. Got Afi Fansel has rejoined just ahead of these two, but he's a lap down. Copper will be hoping that, oh, someone's run wide. Is that Ferrand again? Copper's absolutely wringing the neck of the Audi. Drifting it through Dingledale corner. It's kind of bold with Ferrand. And the Echo Audi. Oh, someone's gone really wide in the distance. That is Afi Fansel. Oh, Ferrand gets it all wrong. Oh, it's cost him a lot of time. A good second, I think he's lost in. No, not quite a second. 0.6 Perhaps, but lucky for him, Copper also gets it wrong. Oh, everyone's pushing very hard. These three have got race leader Jim Clark coming up behind them as well. Be interesting to see how everybody managed that situation. Yes, Leslie Oliphant still needs to do a pit stop. That's true. The fight between himself and between Oliphant and Sparks is still happening. But Sparks already done his pit stop. Jim Clark now starting to navigate some traffic. His front just moves aside for him. These two are part of the same umbrella team, of course. Scott is getting a bit frustrated with Alfie Van Zyl. Van Zyl's not making way for him. Starting to slow up the Volante Racing Audi. But Van Zyl shows some good pace now. Actually starting to move away from Copa. Perhaps he feels he's got the pace to run ahead of them. Doesn't want to let them past. It's okay as long as you don't hinder the driver behind you. Judd Watts now caught up to Oliphant now. Oliphant's tires must be screaming mercy. Jadwan has a look up the inside, goes for the dive. Oliphant just a bit better under braking that time round. On board now with Judd Watts for the classic move up the inside into Druids. Can he get it done? He's got the run on him. Oliphant sees him coming. He's left him room. Good racing. Here's Judd Watts through. No, not quite. Oliphant's running side by side. No, Judd Watts made the move stick, or has he? He's run slightly wide. Oliphant's coming back at him. Looking for a move up the inside. Judd Watts swoops around the outside to cement their position. Judd Watts now moves up into third. Good move. Back to our AC, the Jim Clark. I think I boarded Clark for a while and just watch his pedal inputs. If you look to where we see performance delta in the bottom of our screen, and to the right you've got those 1, 2, 3, 4 upright rectangles basically. And the green is your accelerator, the red is the brake pedal. Just fascinating to watch Jim Clark at work. Very assertive pedal input, especially on the brake. Very hard initial push on the brake, and then he comes off the brake pretty quickly as well. It seems to be very smooth on the accelerator inputs. And almost balancing the car on the throttle. Lovely to watch. A lot of the very quick sim races in the world, what they do is they set up the car to be very oversteery, and then they control the car with their throttle pedal. But it takes a very talented individual to do that, and I think Jim Clark is one of those people. So basically, if you had to come off the throttle, you would turn the car around, but by staying on the throttle and knowing how much to apply, you're keeping the car exactly where you want it. Takes a tremendous feel to do that. Chad White now still soldiering on in third position, but he's 14 seconds behind Langeveld, but on way to cement a podium result this evening. Just seeing him being in the distance, just 4 seconds behind him. Steven Sparks now coming in pressure from Chris Heineke. Red Line Racing leads Phantom Ghostworks for the moment. On lap 46 of 62. Copa and Claessen's now very close together. Let's see if Runt's actually past Copa. And Claessen's now has got his turn to have a go. Peter Kelvin has to say Stephen Sparks is having a good race. I'll say I think Stephen Sparks is having his best ever race at Sim Race South Africa for all the time that he's been with us. It's great to see. It's great to see someone improve like that. Stephen Sparks clearly working very hard and starting to pay off now and really starting to enjoy his racing. And wow, 8th position in a Division 1 simGT race. That's very impressive. Oh, Sparks and Annika side by side. Annika trying to get a move around the outside, but Stephen Sparks wasn't having it. Whoa, and Annika gets it all wrong. He keeps it pointing in the right direction. And Annika will have to try again. Stephen Wilkin asks, are they racing with traction control and ABS or is it off? In this championship we run with traction control and ABS, but there's no stability control. So yeah, for the simGT series, traction control and ABS, and for simGP and simV8, no aids whatsoever. So we've got that three-way battle for 10th position, Front, Copa and Claessen's in that order. I mean, Alfie Fansel still keeping ahead of these three, even though he's a lap down. Alfie Fantel must be careful not to hold up the cars behind him. He's down a lap. And those blue flags will be showing now. Oh, Copper gets it all wrong in a slight understeering moment. Oh, and Clausen does so well to avoid him as well. Clausen's very lucky to get away with that. Copper just avoids Langerveld as well while rejoining. But Copper now back to 12th position and just 4 seconds ahead of Lawrence Sterner. And the Steven Sparks, Chris Heineke battle carries on, just 0.6 of a second in it. Oh, Rob, I wouldn't say one of the quickies. Not judging by my last chance qualifier pace through the weekend. Oh, and Sparks gets it all wrong. Here comes Heineke for move up the inside. Surely Sparks is going to let him go. Yes, he is. Oh, spin here for Sparks. Dirty tires. Around he goes. Where's Ferrant? Is Ferrant available to pick up the pieces? No, he isn't. Sparks will rejoin in 9th position. Sterner. Cooper's heading off. So he's lost 2 positions. Sterner and Lario go through. Oh, someone's off. I think it's Vansel. Vansel, I think, is heading off. Just making sure it's not in the way of anybody. So let's Mabita pass as well. Mabida now 3.8 seconds behind Judd Watts, and we've got 8 laps remaining. Oh, thanks for the kind words, Rob. Appreciate it. Suddenly Mabida is just 1.8 seconds behind Judd Watts. So this battle for third is not quite over yet. Has Judd Watt had an off? Doesn't look to be any damage to the Audi. Perhaps just a trip through one of the gravel traps. It's just slowed him and brought him towards Mabida. Claessens has got front. What's happened to front? I think he's had an off. Where's the front? A tricky left-hander, that. Shonario in the Simtek Racing Porsche. Shonario just now 7/10 of a second behind Sterner. It's another battle to watch out during these closing stages. Just a reminder to everybody, anybody watching, we will be having the Division 2 and 3 races on Wednesday evening. Oh, we've got someone off in the background. His Copa. His Copa's gone off. Oh, he's going to rejoin just ahead of the Judd Watts Mabida battle. Wow, they could have ended in tears, but it didn't. Copa doing very well, and just aware of the situation as well. Good driving. As I was saying, on the Wednesday evening, we've got the Division 2 and 3 races. If you're watching this and you haven't signed up for the season yet, you're very welcome to do so. And you could be racing with us on Wednesday evening. So you can visit our website at simracesa.co.za. Click on the esports leagues tab. Fill up a sign up form, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Oliphant into the pits now. It's interesting to see where he rejoins in relation to Steven Sparks. Whoa, that was a stop and go. Very interesting. That was a splash and dash, was it? I don't think a tire change either. So interesting strategy here by Oliphant. And he has in fact picked up 2 places in Heineke and Sparks. So yeah, very reminiscent of the old GT4 series strategy where we would just come in, stop the car quickly and then leave again. That's exactly what Oliphant's done, and it's made it work for him. He's only 1.8 seconds behind Hodgson as well, so challenging for 6th position is Oliphant now. And Mabida is just 0.3 of a second behind Judd Watts, so obviously this is the battle to watch for the final step of the podium. Wow, this is what we want to see. Let's go on board with Mabida. Judd Watts slightly wide now, under pressure from Mabida. And these two have got traffic in front of them as well, so that will also come into play a bit later on. Down the back straight now. Towards Hawthorne Bend. Who's better through here? Oh, the cars are about equal. Great contest. Who have we got in front of them? That is the Lario Sterner battle, so they're fighting amongst themselves as well. Oh, as Lario goes off. I really need to stop mentioning Sean's name, honestly. Every time I say something, he falls off the circuit. Anyway, back to the battle. Mabida. He's just lost a bit of ground to Judd Watts. Sterner just moves aside for Judd Watts, and I expect him to do the same for Mabida. He hasn't done so though, that's interesting. Mabida flashing his lights. He wants Sterner to move aside as soon as possible. Sterner just does just that. Let's Mabida through. Just 2 laps now for Mabida to do something about Judd Watts. Oh, Clark now leading by over 30 seconds to the rest of the field. Larson's under a bit of pressure now from front. And a second in it. Lario's got Copa. Copa's had an off, I think. Looks like, yes. Damage to the Volante Racing Audi. Eric Inston 15th. Good comeback. He was down in 18th position, but he's clawed his way back up to 15th. Great to see Insulin carry on. and put in some good lap times and start fighting his way further up the timing board. Jim Clark has now started the final lap of the race. Wow, with a 31-second lead, I think he could come into another pit stop and you're still in the race. Oh, he's made a mistake, has he? Slightly. Oh, I guess he put a drive like that. That's interesting. Anybody watching for Wednesday's race to see how his delta came down by running wide like that? Wow. So that's how you take that corner. But what a drive by Jim Clark once again. Of course, winner in Bathurst. And now he'll take victory of round 2 as well. And with that, of course, a solid lead in the championship. Peter has closed the gap to Jadwat again, just 0.8 of a second in it. I'm not sure he's going to have enough time as Jim Clark approaches the final corner of the race to take victory here at Brands Hatch for Echo Racing. Congratulations to him and the team. What a dominant drive by 31 seconds, almost 32 seconds. Here comes Christopher Langevaart in the Redline Racing Lamborghini. We haven't seen too much of him this evening. Just quietly getting on with his drive. And impressive result there by Langevaart in Redline. I think he'll be happy with that. But obviously thinking what he needs to do to get on terms with Jim Clark. And Bashir Jadwat looks like he's coming through to claim the final step of the podium. And Mubita's right there to keep him company. As Jadwat's weaving side to side. And Jadwat will secure that final opponent position. Congratulations to him and Ghostworks. Mabita will get 4th position. What a race between these two. Mark Castain, also haven't seen too much of him, but he will get 5th position this evening. Good result. Him and Ghostworks. Nick Hodgson, Dodging Towers, who will complete the top 6. Good results. Leslie Oliphant will finish in 7th. He's a lap down. He's already in the pits. Heineke will get 8th. Sparks, 9th position for him. Good result. Quay Claessens will complete the top 10. Ferrant 11th. Sterner 12th. Lario 13th. Coper 14th. Ensslin fights his way back to 15th. We've got Boy 17th. And Alfie van Zyl rounds up the field in 18th position. And that rounds up the second round of the 2019.1 South African simGT Series, the Division 1 race, of course. We've got the Division 2 and 3 races on the Wednesday evening. And I look forward to racing with you on Wednesday evening. I'll be in the Division 2 race, can you believe it? I'm looking forward to that. And some incredible pace shown this evening. And I know I've picked up a few tips from watching the race this evening. I'm sure everybody else watching as well has done the same thing. But anyway, until the next race, I think it's in 2 weeks time, the Sim V8 series, which will be live streaming right here on YouTube as we did this evening. All the best until then. Have a great week. Goodbye for now. Cheers.